Have you ever taken a step back and just realized that you might be stuck in a bit of a rut? Follow me for a second. You wake up, do your morning routine, go on your daily commute. You go to work, maybe squeeze in a workout, cook and eat dinner, enjoy the last bit of your evening, whatever that looks like for you. And then you go to sleep and you do it all over again the next day, and the next day, and the next day, over and over and over again. When I was younger, I used to watch that one episode of SpongeBob, the one where Squidward got his perfect life, I think it was. And at first it was great, but over time it just got kind of repetitive and boring, and he wanted to eventually go back to the life he had before. And it's just kind of crazy how things like that always come back and tend to be a little bit more relevant in your adult life. I remember points in time in my life when I was in a rut, and one time it got so bad that I actually opened up my laptop and I Googled what a rut actually was. A habit or a pattern of behavior that has become dull and unproductive, but is hard to change. And that's life for so many people, you know? And I don't want to make it seem like having a routine or kind of doing the same thing every day is necessarily a bad thing. There's a lot of stability in knowing what comes next. Because when you really think about it, it's kind of an easy life to fall into. And when I think about things like this, I like to use the comparison of running in a hamster wheel. The hamster just kind of runs in a wheel and it goes around and around and around. It's exerting so much energy and it feels like it's going somewhere. But in the end, is the hamster really going anywhere? Is it really doing anything worthwhile? Now, I'm a firm believer that I was put on this earth to do a lot more than just go to work, go home, and pay bills. And I feel like that's really saying something because I really enjoy my job. And I feel like a lot of people can't really relate or say that. But I wanted to make this video because sometimes getting in a rut is pretty easy. And I wanted to talk about what I do to kind of break out when I'm feeling this way. I think the first step to breaking out of a rut is to actually recognize when you're in a rut. And I think there are certain patterns or behaviors that you can kind of pull from your life to realize that. The first one being just a kind of general lack of enthusiasm about your day, you know? Because when you go through your day, you don't really engage with anything new and you don't really give yourself anything to look forward to, why would you have any enthusiasm? You know, every day is gonna kind of be the same. You don't have anything to look forward to after work, and you just come home, do the exact same things, and go to sleep, wash, rinse, repeat. You start to feel stagnant because you're not accomplishing anything new. And with that, you start to become a little bit more negative or pessimistic. And I can definitely say that's me whenever I feel like this because, again, no enthusiasm, what's there to look forward to? You might want to start taking out these feelings on the world around you. You become more cynical and you take these feelings out on maybe your friends, your family, and the world around you because you don't really know where else to place these feelings into. There's nothing else for you to do. I also think a lot of the time when we're in ruts like this, we tend to wait for things to happen to us instead of making things happen for themselves. And that causes us to waste just so much time, you know? The perfect job, the perfect situation, the perfect whatever, the perfect person to get into a relationship with. We just wait for those things to happen instead of pursuing the things that we really want. When X happens, I'll finally have Y and that'll equal Z, and then I'll finally be happy. I'll finally have everything I want, or I can finally do that thing that I've always said that I was going to do. And I think we do that because it's so easy to just not take action, because when we do take action, we have to be responsible for our own results. If we just sit and we're stagnant and we wait for the world around us to do everything for us, we don't need to take responsibility because it's not our fault. It's the world around us. I didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. So how is that my fault? Easy to just stay in a little comfort zone where there's no risk or room for vulnerability because, again, you can't mess up if you don't do anything. And that's just never really been my thing. Very much master of my fate, captain of my soul type stuff. I love that poem. The main thing I'd say is it's okay to wait sometimes. I do it, but you just can't wait too long because it's so easy for motivation to just slip away at any time. The graveyard is the richest place on earth because it is here that you will find all the hopes and dreams that were never fulfilled, the inventions that were never launched, the books that were never written, the songs that were never sung, the people that were never loved, the lives that were never lived. Les Brown. So whenever I start to feel like I'm in one of these situations or like I'm in a rut, the first thing I do is switch things up. And one of the first things that I do is I start journaling. Now, back in the day, I didn't really see the benefit of journaling, but as I've gotten older, it's actually been very helpful. Maybe you just need a safe space to write down your goals or the things that you want to accomplish. Maybe you just want an area or a place where you want to write down how you're feeling about the situation that you're in. Journaling can be all of that and so much more. I think there's a lot of power in just being able to sit down and organize all of these random, important, unimportant thoughts in your mind and just being able to sit with them and see them put on a page. The things that you want, the patterns that you may have, the goals that you haven't even started on, the actions that you have already taken. There's so much power in writing things down and just seeing where you are in that point in time. And I started very small. I didn't start with these big, long prompts. I didn't start with these humongous stories. I just wrote down maybe what I wanted to get done that day, what happened that day, a good patient story, a bad patient story, maybe even just a word to describe the day or my week. I also think introducing a bit of spontaneity into your life is a really good way to break out of a rut. I'm usually always down to do anything at the drop of a dime. Drop of a dime? Is it drop of a dime or drop of a hat? Is it both? At the drop of a dime. I'm usually down for whatever, whenever. A vacation, I'm flying out. New restaurant, let's eat. New shoes, I'm buying. But I've been getting a little bit better with that. When a schedule or a routine is all you have to go on, you leave no room for some of the most unpredictable or fun events that could come out of nowhere. And personally speaking, some of the best times of my life have come from unplanned plans, from unplanned things just happening. Predictability and knowing what's coming next is great. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. But opening yourself up to a little bit more spontaneity can just introduce so many more fun things into your life. Being more intentional with my time is also a way that I feel like you can break free of a rut, because it's so easy to let time just slip away. And I'm definitely guilty of that. I can't even lie. A good TikTok scroll, a long gaming session, a long binge. All of these are things that I'm super guilty of doing. And I'm gonna continue to do them because I like balance. But with that, I can also recognize that a lot of these are short-term satisfaction tasks that can really distract you from doing the things that can make you a lot more happy or satisfied in the long term. And again, that's why you need to get yourself a journal. Gross. Or maybe just some way to organize some of these thoughts or these tasks that you're doing. Reallocate some of that time to a productive hobby, working out, a new thing like getting into YouTube. Just get out of the house and do something new. These are just some of the things that I do to break free from that rut of a hamster wheel that we all sometimes get into. This is what I do. If you have anything else that you typically like to do, let me know down below. I'd love to hear it. But until then, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.